Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure to be in your midst this afternoon. My special thanks goes to the ISC for the invitation and the opportunity. I really apologize for not being able to make it live this afternoon, as we will be having an internet outage during the day. So I'll start sharing my slides. So my presentation will be around the challenges with regards to science, technology, and innovation in the global south, with a strong focus on small island developing states. So as I've been introduced, I'm Vidushi Neergheen, and I'm here in my capacity as a scientist, but also as an ISC SIDS Liaison Committee member. So if we have a look at the world map, which is based on the number of research publications each country produced in 2011, we can see how the Northern Hemisphere balloons beyond recognition and how the global South melts off the map. Now, although this map uses scientific research as the sole representation of scientific output, and although the values, practices that might have contributed to such a global imbalance has not been taken into consideration a decade ago, I'm not too sure whether this situation has been redressed significantly. Now, we do see that there has been some slight increase in the productivity and in the quality of research and innovation in many countries of the global south. The process has been pushed by the SDGs, as it is widely accepted that science, technology, and innovation are critical ingredients for the implementation of the SDGs. Nevertheless, the challenges to research in the global south remains a major barrier to the full implementation of the SDGs. I will take you through the most important ones from a scientist's perspective. The first one, I think, is scientific capacity. In this COVID-19 pandemic, we have all realized that all countries must be equipped to respond. Now, in global south, building a sustainable research capacity remains a challenge due to brain drain. Secondly, the main issue is about the funding. We know that global south has a heavy reliance on funding from international funders, and there is a continued need for international assistance. But are the funds available to find solutions for our local problems, or is it driven by priorities from the global north? So this goes in line with the trickle-down science concept, where there is an ongoing reliance on the northern countries for solutions to the local problems. And I think there is a dear need to problem solving that take local context into account. There is also the problem of poor infrastructure, lack of up-to-date equipment, and bureaucracy, which does not create that enabling environment. And above all, there is the top-down and bottom-up approach. I think most of the research is from a bottom-up approach. Projects, I think, should naturally and usefully integrate into existing national priorities for it to reap maximum benefit. While collaborative research is concerned, it is very important, but we have to build on the trust, the fairness, and also the transparency. And it should not be based on any kind of misinformation, as we often see. In the introductory session, we have seen that in the introductory session of day one, we have seen that open science and open access is a major concern, and it acts as a major deterrent to research in Global South, not only to access the knowledge, but it hinders the full participation to the creation of knowledge. And to crown this all, I think equitable partnership is what is missing in certain cases. And this really does not create the right environment for the use of science, technology, and innovation in addressing or implementing the SDGs to the fullest. Now, similar challenges are faced by the SIDS, that is the small island developing states, and most probably to a deeper level, although the case is different in each SIDS country. So who are the SIDS? We are 52 countries in the Caribbean, in the Atlantic, Indian Ocean and South China Sea, and in the Pacific. Now, being islands, we share common social, economic, and environmental challenges, and developing into knowledge-based economies for the SDG implementation and for sustaining the country's development is mandatory. We have a high dependency on international trade. We are very susceptible to external shocks, to national calamities, and we see we have a lot of impact of climate change. Now, despite our significant geographical dispersion, there are initiatives for achieving the SDGs in the SIDS. One of them is the Small Island Developing States Accelerated Modalities of Action Pathway, which is the SAMOA. Now, in order to respond effectively to the SDGs implementation, there is a need to boost the science, technology, and innovation by targeting the barriers. So I'm going to put forward some of the propositions from a scientist's perspective again for building that scientist-funder relationship. So I think first of all, there need to be contextual relevance and ownership. What I mean by that, there is a need to fund research of local relevance. I think SIDS are ideal laboratories, be it in terms of the population size, be it in terms of the genetic pool that we make. So we are ideal laboratories, and in some instances, we can provide solutions to global problems. The second point is, how can we level the playing field for the local scientists? I think collaborative research should not be veiled in misinformation, especially around the use of data generated and also about budget management. There must be incentives from the funders to sustain the long-term research interactions, which is very, very important to build on the capacity as well as to reach out to communities. Now, we have also witnessed how the pandemic are disrupting the funding streams, and SIDS, as well as the Global South, are very vulnerable at this particular period of time. So how can funders assist in the post-COVID-19 era, whether we will have a post-COVID-19 era or whether we will have to live with the COVID-19? How do we really preserve that research capacity and sustain the research? Especially, we have seen how lockdown have been detrimental, how loss of funding has disrupted a number of ongoing research. So adding to that, we have also seen that a number of SID countries were building on their own research funding mechanism, but I think priorities have not changed. So how can we really think about moving this forward? It is also important to have more funding opportunities with direct engagement with the research institutions in SIDS. Now, how do the scientists make their cause visible to funders? And how do funders' call reach the scientific community in a timely manner? Very often we will see the funders' call 2-3 days before the deadline. So this is something that we have to, that funding organization have to reach out to the scientific community. And lastly, a certain level of flexibility with funding for better community involvement is necessary. And I'd like to retake the point that was made by Jean-Éric Paquet in the first session of day one, where he said that science with citizen is very important. And I think funders should provide this opportunity, especially to the SIDS, the Global South, and to all the researchers. So with that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I hope that the points made will be taken up during the panel discussion. Thank you very much.